Hello.
Hey everybody.
No dance today?
No dancing. Schnaka. So what we have here is a little virtual video for you. For those of you that can't be here at our tasting, we do it right here in downtown Mount Airy at Old North State Winery, where we taste different wines from all over the world. We try to cover the whole planet and experience all the wines of the world. Even though we make our own wines right here in the Yadkin Valley, we think it's important for everyone to know the wines of the world and then the grapes of the world too. And so, well, without further ado, let's get into your tasting kit here. Those of you that have it, you have two beautiful red wines today. And
Nice,
of course,
gloomy, rather red wine.
yeah, we haven't seen the sun in days. So this is certainly something that'll brighten your spirits, I hope. It certainly does for me.
Hard to not have your spirits lifted with a nice bottle of red.
Yeah,
It usually does the trick.
does help, doesn't it, Chef?
It does indeed.
Well, we've been so busy at the restaurant that we had to postpone our tasting from Thursday to Saturday this week, and I appreciate all those that have been patient and was able to adjust their schedule so that we can continue tasting delicious wines every week. So this will be our Saturday night tasting. Of course, you out there in video land, you could be on any day of the week, of course. That's the great thing about this video. You can watch it at any time. This is from Solena. This is Willamette. Of course, Chef Chris can tell you all about that place. He was in Oregon for a week this year, and he is, I think he's a Pinot fan. You got to be a Pinot fan if you ever step foot in Oregon, because they are the Pinot specialist, in my opinion, of America. And I'm not saying there's not great Pinots elsewhere, but they are saturated with great Pinots.
They certainly are. All the way to that delicious Pinot Blanc the other night.
Oh yeah, you join some wine clubs while you're out there, and I get to benefit from that as well.
We had the St. Innocent. It was outstanding. Cool bottle too.
Yeah, so they aren't just 100% Pinot. They do other things, but I think that's what they're known for sure. And and what about the Riesling you had too? You had a great Riesling out there? Yeah.
Outstanding.
So yeah, there's certainly a lot of great winemaking out there, but they're known for Pinots, and I think that's what most people, they're looking for from Oregon.
Without a doubt. They have some great Chard.
Yes.
But,
yeah. St. Innocent.
St. Innocent. And so of course those are going to go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
Chardonnay and Pinot certainly grow together well.
Right.
But yeah, it's just outstanding. That Pinot Blanc was fun though. It was wild.
Yeah, it was way different. It was intense. So Solena's been doing it since 20 years plus. This is no pop-up winery. This is a family owned and operated, which is we always love our boutique wineries because we always feel just like the difference between having a chef prepare your meal and that kind of corporate prefab food.
Conveyor belt meal.
It just doesn't quite check all the boxes, and boutique wines tend to check the boxes. They got a little more soul, a little more character to them. And Chef, it's hard to find a Pinot Noir anywhere for under $30. They're
Almost
expensive.
impossible.
They're expensive, but they're expensive for a reason, because it's a very difficult grape to grow. You could literally have a vintage where you might not have any income coming in because your Pinots didn't make it due to disease or drought, or even hail and wind can damage these grapes.
The smoke from all the fires.
That's right. Yeah, all that smoke drifting north from California, smoking out.
Even Oregon had some trouble with their fire, with their wildfires.
Was it Bent Mountain? I can't remember.
Yeah, and they had there were several wineries there when we were up there said they had to skip a vintage because of the fire. I mean, the smoke to the vines.
It's a really strange thing, that smoke taint, how it doesn't really show itself until after fermentation. And then because fermentation does so much in the flavor. Remember, we describe all of these things, and I say we, you out there, and when we're talking about wine, we say things like, oh, there's cherries in here, and there's vanilla in here, and there's spice, and all these things we're talking about, but it's grapes. And fermentation is what changes that grape from tasting like a grape to all of these other things that we adore about wine. and really singles them out as a specific style, you know, and to me it's so interesting too, because you can take the same grape, the same varietal, and it can show all kinds of different flavors after fermentation, depending on where it was grown and where it was fermented. And you know, it's just there's so many.
All the different kinds of yeast really change
Yeah,
the profile.
yes, sir,
Not
absolutely.
just the
Type
function of fermentation, but
Sure.
what precipitates it.
Absolutely, there's all this deliciousness, and we're trying to wrangle it all. You know, so anyway, you get the idea. Pinot is a passion for people. It's a risky venture, but boy, when you get one, you know, that is just so pure and delicious, it's just like, oh my gosh, that was totally worth losing my retirement package for that. But
It's delicious. Oh, and by the way, that'll be $120 a bottle.
right, yeah. So let's dive into this one, Chef.
It's delicious.
You know, we've got our fancy Pinot glasses. We're doing the tulip glasses. It'll help them get our snouts.
And
in there.
our snouts are in there, getting all the beautiful bouquet and aroma, and absolutely it does accentuate the experience. You're certainly going to be forced to pick up on a lot more of the nuances of the wine, and that's a good thing. And there's a lot to this too. This does not taste like an entry-level Pinot. This is really complex.
It's definitely not, Chef. And this is, wow, it's just mouthwatering. It's complex. It has all of those classic, you know, you want a Pinot Noir to be a Pinot Noir. You don't want it to be a cat. You know, you want something that's kind of light on its feet, yet flavorful. And that is a tricky thing to get to have flavor with a light wine. That's where, you know, the best Pinots live, is in that, you know, beautiful. You can see right. You could read a book through this wine if you put it over. It would be but it is packed with flavor. We got tons of fruit here, Chef.
Tons. I mean, it is drinking big, not a tannin big, fruit big, spice big.
Oh, there's tannins there too.
Oh, I mean, they're there. I'm just saying it doesn't. That's not first. It's drinking big for its lightness and color.
Yeah, absolutely. Get a ton of red fruit and floral. Just a ton of
The
floral.
florality's big time.
And probably, I would have to say, you know, towards the white pepper experience there. I mean, I guess you
Love
could
the
say
white pepper,
cayenne maybe, but you know, somewhere in that, you know, a little spice, but not the flavor of like a black pepper. It's more, you know, subdued in the
Absolutely.
pepper flavor.
It's, you know, that barkiness and the white pepper just is going really well together.
And right down the middle of my tongue after 2 sips, those tannins are starting to build. And boy, that pleases the court, you know?
Boy, yes, indeed.
Yes.
It gets everything going. It comes in and wakes you up in the morning, tells your taste buds it's time.
Really, really intense fruit coming down to a really dry, but yet there's that acidity at the end that gets your mouth watering. So you have a dryness on your tongue, but your mouth is just leaking. It's happy. And what would be better than to have some food with this wine when your mouth is watering like this?
And it's ready. And this is a really great winemaker here, getting all these things in balance.
Yeah,
because normally when you have this many things in play, it would be easy for you to get away from you, and none of it is. It's very well balanced.
I would be happy to pay $80, $100 for this wine.
And you would be well pleased. I mean, this is a great representation of that area, because, you know, the Oregon Pinots are, you know, they do have a distinctive flavor outside of Burgundy and California, and this represents the valley well.
Agreed. Chef, I'm almost getting on the front a little chalkier minerality, maybe, which is also just lovely. There's the more I think we sit with this wine, the more that really shows itself. It exposes more, and that's, you know, another great thing about Pinot Noir, that you have to spend a little time with it. You gotta chase it a little bit more than other wines. It's not gonna punch you in the face as much as a Cab or a Zin or something, or a Syrah. You need to give it a little bit more, and not be lazy, I guess. You know,
Not be lazy. And these are the kind of wines
Yeah.
What do they say? It walks around with you for a while. Like when you're done drinking it, it's the kind of thing you ponder on after you finish. It wasn't just, I drank the wine.
Right.
I mean, it lingers.
I just got like a little bit of cherry cola, just a hint on that last one. It's not pure cola. It's like just like a kind of fruity cola. Just you know.
Yeah, I'm getting the cocoa on that.
Yeah.
I think it's cherry all the way home. Maybe a touch of raspberry on this, but I think it's cherry all day.
Yeah.
But it just has that. It's not bitter, but that undertone of like cocoa or bittersweet chocolate, or
Right.
or I might not be putting my finger
No,
on it,
I
but
think you're
it's
right.
there.
Because it's not
Like
bitter.
a Lindor
Mm.
dark chocolate
Right.
cherry kind of thing.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, it's
Yeah, it's not that. It's not.
Not
it's
sweet.
like a drying
Yes.
bitter, not a bitter like a pith or something like that.
exactly, and not sweet chocolate. It's like a cocoa. It's
Yeah.
like, I don't know. It's hard to
Yeah,
describe.
I totally
really
get it.
nice.
It's now developing up on the roof of my mouth, and
It's
yeah,
warming up.
And,
You're warming
and just
up.
I'm just thinking about everybody at some point tries to put cocoa in their mouth, and then they always regret it.
Always regret
It's
it. It's like
like-
cinnamon.
it's crazy, yeah.
oh.
Yeah, and that like as we're talking, you're bringing up cocoa. I'm starting to like.
Yeah, it's like
It's like, oh gosh, do I have cocoa on the roof
Is
of my
there
mouth?
did I eat cocoa
Yeah,
before this?
but this is absolutely beautiful. These are all things that make Ed happy. I'm really excited about serving this with some food in the restaurant. We just got this in, and so it's really new to us, and so
It's exciting.
we're happy to present the 2021, and so it's pretty darn fresh. Quick, that's
Better believe it.
a quick release and ready to go. It is ready to drink now. I don't think age would hurt this. I don't know.
Oh, no,
I don't know.
yeah.
I mean, with this kind of
That kind of acid
acidity
and
in here,
alcohol, yeah.
I
That's
think
gonna be all right.
I did not look at the ABV. It looks like about 13.5.
Yeah, it
So
fills up there, yeah.
there's enough alcohol to prolong its life as well, and of course the tannins. So we've got a lot of things in place. If you were to lay it down, I wouldn't think that it would probably be more than 5 or 7 years, maybe.
That's
I don't
kind
know.
of a sweet
It's hard
spot.
to say.
5 to
Yeah.
7 seems like for a well-made Pinot,
Mhm.
that tends to be,
Yeah.
like cabs are more 10 years, Pinot.
I would say
more
if we were drinking a Pinot that was 1 year old like we're doing here, and it tasted this good, I don't think like this tastes this good. So I wouldn't think it was going to age long. Many times, if you have one that's 1 year old and it's just like, ooh, I don't know why I paid this much for it. It's because it wasn't quite ready.
It wasn't ready.
It's not ready for consumption yet. It's kind of more designed for the long haul, and I don't know what the winemaker had in mind with this. I can tell you, I appreciate it right now for what it is, but there are certainly other Pinots that are kind of green in the bottle, if you will, and they kind of mature a little bit later. This is drinking so good now. I don't know what aging how it would benefit
Who
it.
knows? I mean,
But it could,
It
and
could.
maybe
I
we'll
don't-
find out. But I've got a feeling, Chef, as much as you like Pinot now, and of course, I like to come over and
Unless
drink.
you're gonna buy some more, we're not gonna find
Well,
out.
that's right. So that's what I was going to say, because I like coming over to your house and drinking all your Pinot. So we're going to run out. We're not going to save any.
Thank goodness.
Yeah,
To me, so it's always, why did you open that one? Because they'll make more.
that's true.
That's my
Sure.
phrase. Anytime somebody gives me grief about drinking all the wine, well, they'll make more.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not a collector, never claimed
we're
to be.
stirring the economy.
I think at some point, there's only a handful of like true library collectors, and that you're talking about a collection of wealth that really most people will never realistically see. So you should drink your wine, and unless you're going to.
Unless you have one of those wines that's not ready to drink.
But I just mean like wine in general. You're not going to build a library of wine. I mean, most normal people aren't going to do that. I think wine should be enjoyed and consumed. I don't have the kind of money to build a library, so I'm going to drink it all.
Yep. Well, with that being said, Chef, we're talking about eating. What do you think you could throw at this food boss?
You're going to get to decide because we can either serve, I've done some beautiful poached salmon that we're going to have with a remoulade, or I'm serving that beautiful aged Utah cheese, the Pour Me a Slice. It's marinated in Basil Hayden whiskey.
Ooh, cheese.
Cheese it is.
Yeah. I
So-
mean, I love salmon.
Well,
Pinot.
I know you do. That's why I threw it out there. I mean,
I really do. But
I'm serving the
cheese
cheese
with
with
whiskey,
this tonight.
yeah. Mhm.
But I didn't know if, because we often talk about Pinot with fish, wanted to give you the option.
Yeah, I want that cheese.
With that barrel aged whiskey cheese,
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
that will accentuate this well.
Absolutely. Great call, and thanks for letting me decide that I get to eat cheese tonight.
You deserve it.
Well, you know, it's good for you. Got full of calcium, you know? You know, when you get to be my age,
I can't
you know, the
imagine.
bone density
I
thing.
can't imagine.
You eat all that calcium.
The we don't need to hear your bones popping.
Right,
When
yeah.
you're going up and down the stairs tonight.
Yeah. Boy, Chef, we got a big night.
Huge.
Packed house.
I'm nervous.
We've had a busy week. We had chef's tables on Sunday. We
We've
had
been
a
working
big party
every
on
night for
Tuesday
weeks.
night. We had a big chef's table on Wednesday night. We had a huge party on Thursday night. And of course, now we're on Saturday, and then tomorrow we got another chef's table,
Another big one.
another big one, which, you know, it's fantastic. It's the best of times. It's the hardest of times.
Yes, it's all those things. And next week is a little more of the same. We've got lots of parties, lots of big dining rooms, lots of events, and yeah, 2 more weeks.
And don't
We
forget,
can do it.
Don't forget, Chef. We just released our
Thank
big
you.
New Year's Eve chef's table,
That's
which,
correct.
you know, we always show out on that one. Not that we don't show out on every chef's table, but
But no, it is
that's a
special.
little bigger budget, so we
A little
can,
bigger budget.
we will, instead of maybe having,
The wines really show off, right?
yeah, we can throw more money at the wine.
And not that your pairings aren't spot on, but you're using a elevated price point to do the same ingenuity.
Chef, I don't think I told you, we actually got a positive review on Yelp.
You did mention that. I didn't believe you.
Yeah, I don't believe it either.
And
Someone
I
had to
didn't
show it
think-
to me.
I thought they kicked you out as a user if you said something positive.
Yeah,
That's just a hate site.
yeah, I'm sure that they'll, yeah, it's a hate site, but we actually got one of the
We should
best reviews.
screenshot it.
Yeah, we should get it before they take it down. It was really nice. We had a couple, they came and did a little trip. They were in town from Charlotte, did the Wednesday chef's table, and then came back in for lunch the next day. And they just said some really nice things, sent a lot of pictures. We appreciate all y'all supporting us.
That's awesome. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. We just don't expect that from the Yelp
Never.
crowd.
No. The TripAdvisor, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yelp is just where people go when they've had a bad day.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, so.
And that raised our overall rating to an unheard of level of 4,
Yeah.
which,
Yeah.
like, it's
like-
like,
it's
that's
like-
a unicorn
It's,
land.
yeah, it's like on some sites, a 4-star is the lowest you get. Yelp is it's the highest you
It's
get.
unicorn territory.
All right, so we're gonna go.
Oh, wow.
We're gonna head to Italy. You know, I might have thought about this because I'm going there in April, but let's just say that I didn't, and I was already planning on showing you this. Okay, this is Mille 1. This is a beautiful winery from the Garda region. It's a Garda Rosso. It's a red blend. So we're up near Valpolicella in this region, Lake Garda, and of course Corvina is dominant grape there. But here we have a nice little blend with Merlot, about 20%, and Rebo. Rebo is 40% with the Corvina, 40%. And Rebo is a cross between Merlot and another indigenous grape from Italy that they were messing around with, trying to have an alternative to Merlot to make it more conducive to grow in Italy. And it kind of stuck around in the Trento region and, you know, and around that general northeastern part of Italy. It's kind of spilled out and about. That is a good thing to have another grape. We can never have enough grapes. We can never have enough things to taste because every grape brings something different. Usually it's going to be a blended grape, the Rebo, and you know, I think it's kind of cool that it's blended here with Corvina, the grape of that area,
The flagship grape.
and Merlot, its mother/father, however you want to put it, its parent, I guess. And so this is Mille 1 refers to The length of Italy, if you drove from the top to the bottom, is 1,001 miles. So if you wanted to do that, I don't know that I could do that, but I would like to. If I did it, would probably like a year. It wouldn't
Let's
be
go ahead and take a year off.
yeah, right. Let's do that.
Let's drink our way to top to bottom.
I'm gonna spend a couple of weeks in northern Italy, and I'll get us a good game plan after I get back in April. So
It's really funny that you think you're coming back from a New Year's trip.
I'll send you a
It's
postcard.
hilarious.
Okay, beautiful nose here. This is also what I would call a classic Italian nose for me. This to me, when I get my nose down here, it just reminds me of Italy.
This wine is crazy. I don't know
Yeah.
if you've had it or sipped it. I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah. So this is one of the things that you can say here is that there can be some wildness to the Rebo grape. So that is often why it's blended. Is that what you're referring to?
No, I mean it is so quintessential Italian. They should like give you a cup of this at the airport when you land.
Yeah, that is
Because like you get off, you disembark,
yeah.
and you're waiting for your luggage on the carousel, and everyone in Italy, they should hand you this and go, "Welcome to Italy,"
Yeah.
and you're like,
Start drinking. Yeah.
"This is like
This is what you're getting
this
yourself
is
into.
an Italian postcard in a glass."
Yeah, and to me,
It has everything you expect from
yeah.
Italian.
I think this particular style, you could even say that this would be even a central or southern Italy flavor profile because it's pretty soft. It's not quite as grippy
Right,
as
yeah.
like northeastern Italy
Absolutely.
with the Nebbiolos and the
big dollars up there,
Sangiovese.
yes.
This is a softer wine. And we did a Valpolicella Ripasso at the Prefix dinner last night that was stunning, and that's a great expression of Corvina. Here, this is not as Corvina-like. I know it's 40% of this, but it has a plushness, a plumminess. I would say there's like a almost approaching prune, not quite.
It's getting from the Merlot. I mean, you have a lot of that, and I know it's a small amount, but the other grape is like kind of a hybridized version of that. So I mean, you're really getting those characteristics, and it tastes like a sunshine wine.
It really does.
It's not like the cooler climates up north too. I mean, this is great. I mean, but it still has the dust. It still has the Italian dust.
There's certainly some tannin
So this
there.
is not a fruit bomb by any. I mean, it has some foundation there, some of that dustiness. I love it. I think
To me, it's kind of almost it's trying to get to blueberry, but it not quite. It's
like a boysenberry.
yes.
This never really gets that sweet, and you have to manipulate it.
Absolutely delicious. I think it's one of the easiest drinking wines you'll ever place on your lips.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's 14.5% alcohol. I never would have guessed that.
I wouldn't have either.
Honestly, I don't look at these while I'm tasting, and so I always forget.
Yeah, I
Oh,
guess
yeah,
that'll
there's-
change,
I know that- I know
that'll
there's-
change you, yeah.
I know that, yeah, I don't, I just try to, because I think it's interesting to look after you've made assessments on wines and see how well is the alcohol
I'm calling
integrated.
it lower than the Pinot.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, it's not drinking like there's.
Definitely.
I mean, it's drinking like a lunch wine.
Yeah, it's got, it really does have like characteristics of
Excuse me.
malolactic fermentation here. There's that
Mm.
that creamy
Absolutely.
richness
Great
to
call.
it. The fruit comes on big, and it just kind of slowly
Mhm.
dissipates down to this really nice dry, but I wouldn't say nearly as dry as the Pinot, but it's still dry, and the tannins are a little bit more subdued.
The mallow is giving it an unsweetened caramel weight. Like when you have caramel in your mouth,
yeah.
like
Yeah, that texture.
that
yeah.
texture,
Mhm.
and you feel the creaminess, but like without the sugar.
Right.
You kind of have to. You know how it sticks. Caramel just kind of adheres,
Right.
and so you're getting custard or whatever you want to call it, and that's what this is doing, but not in a sweet way. It's
Yeah,
delicious.
and I would think honestly that this is a low alcohol wine because the alcohol is not dominating this beverage. It's a really fun wine. I think it would be great with a lot of foods, but I also think it doesn't need food.
No,
You
not
know,
at all.
It would be,
Or like snacks.
yeah.
You know, if you were having a, you know, before dinner, afternoon, well, really, I mean, it'd be great anytime, but
Breakfast.
even pre-breakfast, you know.
Like while you're laying in bed.
While you're,
Hey, honey,
hey,
can you bring me a glass
is there
of wine?
any more of that Mille in there?
Yeah, that would be lovely. Well, you know, this is certainly a wine that I think is going to be a crowd pleaser.
It's
And-
pleasing. It's pleasing this crowd.
Yeah, and it's an exceptional value, under $25 a bottle. Once again,
Forget it.
bringing the thunder,
Forget
bringing
it.
quality for bang for the buck, and you know.
Why can't they all be this? With
Well,
that
we
price?
taste through a lot of them to get there.
I know. I'm
Yeah.
just saying, it's impressive.
It does.
That pedigree, this area, this wine is drinking just so balanced. You're gonna love it.
Yeah, this is one that it's for drinking now. I would say probably over the next year or so. This is a 2018, so it's got 4 years on it. And typically I find that this area are very consistent vintage to vintage. You know, now that I've said that.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get a total
Yeah,
curveball
but-
on that.
But there are certainly areas of the world that are far more susceptible to vintage, you know, or more erratic weather.
Yeah,
And
they're kind of locked in away from the extremes.
We're really we here in person. We're going to have some other wines. We have 4 here in person. You have 2 here on the video, but we're going to be talking about some of those regions that are affected, how they're planting different grapes, and we're going to do a white blend here, and we're going to talk about that. But you know, the wine industry is always going to find a way to make it work. And you
Well,
know,
it's evolved. I mean, it's almost been wiped out 10 times over.
that's right. That's
all
right.
across the world. So I mean, it's a very adaptive culture.
Like you said, it's an adaptation. It's, you know, let's, you know, roll with the punches, and things might change, but you know, it might not be the way it was. There's still going to be great wines in these regions that are affected by, you know, obviously climate shifts and things of that nature. So, with that being said, I don't find that this area really gets as much of that to date, and so very
Sure.
consistent. I feel like if you can't find the 2018, if you know the 19's coming out, the 20's coming out, I would feel comfortable recommending those, even though I haven't tried them yet, because of the consistency of that area. Something that I've always liked about Valpolicella, it's that whole region, Lake Garda, is the consistency of the Trento. You know, all the whites that we love from up there.
Absolutely.
They seem to just be very, very consistent year to year. There's always going to be subtle changes because it's wine, and you know, honestly, there should be. But you know, the big shifts are the hard ones for people to understand, and it's a lot easier for people to understand wines. I think, particularly in the beginning of learning wine, you know, that if you can get them, you know, understanding slight changes in vintages, then they can really appreciate the big changes.
Big changes,
And
absolutely.
then appreciate that, you know, this isn't a cookie cutter beverage. It's not a recipe that you can make. It really tells of a special time in our history. That one year, this is what we had, and we loved
it's a
it.
moment in time
Yeah.
in the bottle,
Yeah.
expression of that, of all the things that, all the interconnectedness of the weather and the soil and the winemaker and all the things that work together to make a harvest, a vintage. I mean, it's just great to have that expression, and it's probably why you see Valpolicella on so many wine lists.
Yeah.
Because they can count on it.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
I know
Absolutely.
they talk about it. You know, it's
Yep.
you know, even like mid-range restaurants. You know, they're always featuring
Absolutely.
Valpolicella, and it's like it's something you can feel comfortable. It makes sense. You're explaining that now why that's always such a popular varietal.
So this beautiful, Corvina.
Region.
The Corvina is really what drives it, and of course this is a Garda Rosso, beautiful blend of. Well, you know what, Chef? Before I close this video, we should talk about the food. What we
I'm doing a little baked Parmesan and spinach risotto.
beautiful.
Little
I love
crustello
it.
crust with a panko. It's gonna be great.
Oh, things that grow together
Go together.
Yeah, that's easy breezy. Should be well, man, that risotto you made Thursday night.
It's similar. So good.
So good. We had a big party here. We had risotto, and it was lovely. So that's been on my mind a lot. It's risotto season too.
It is the season.
Someone
for
asked
sure.
me when I was doing the prefix, and that I kind of explained to them that you and I grew up chefing together, and they said, "Well, if you had to cook one meal, what would it be?"
Tough question.
And because I was
Tough
still
question.
thinking about the risotto you made, I said ossobuco with truffle risotto.
Actually, I probably would have said that. Like if we went on the newlywed game, like
Yeah,
we would crush,
yes,
we would
yeah,
crush it.
yeah.
We would crush it because ossobuco risotto. I mean, that's like your go-to. You're like, oh my goodness, the
Lamb, rice.
the weather's cooler than 61.
It's time.
Ossobuco
Let's
risotto.
brace
Yeah.
and stuff. And and I kind of mentioned, I was like, also it takes a really long time to make that dish. So if it's my last meal, I want to stretch it out a few more
Well,
hours.
and true, and like what I love about it, if you're braising meats and doing these long things like risotto, and you're drinking wine, and hey, can you help with the chores?
Yeah,
I'm busy cooking.
I'm cooking.
It's gonna take about 5 hours.
Yeah, absolutely. Chef James, who was a great mentor to me, he's got his restaurant there in Brevard.
The Blind Mule.
Yeah, when I worked for him in South Carolina, he would always have this saying. He's like, one for the sauce,
Yep.
one for the chef, and that was that's what happens when you're cooking long periods of time in Italian style. I mean, there's gonna be wine in the food. There's gonna be wine in the chef.
So the times have changed so much. One of my favorite chefs, Eric Rupert, who had La Bernardin in New York, but he grew up in Europe doing hotel schools and apprenticing, where you just have these armies of staff. And he said his first couple of jobs, his only job in the kitchen was to make sure he always had plenty of white wine cold for the two chefs.
Wow,
And he said,
that's a priority.
that was his job.
Keep them going.
He said we had to have 2 bottles of Riesling, 2 Pinot Blanc, 2 Gewurz, and all these. It's like that was his job for like a year to make sure that the two chefs in each part of the hierarchy always had the wines they loved chilled and ready.
Brilliant, and I'm sure the ownership was happy to do it.
They're like, what else do you need?
Right? Yeah.
I mean, those guys were like,
Oh yeah, geniuses.
I mean, it was.
Yeah, they lived there.
They did, and he said that
It wasn't like they could wait till after work and then start
There is no
drinking
after
because
work.
they collapse
There
after
is
work.
no after
yeah,
work.
exactly. Well, anyway, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but that's very European.
Very
model.
European.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, I would say that. Not so much in America. We kid around about it, but honestly, we're pretty vanilla compared to the European
Better
chefs.
believe it. We are. We
Yeah.
are absolutely. And we haven't had the time either. So I mean, we're still in our infancy as a culture and a country. And so a lot of the great things that we've inherited are from those
Without a doubt.
institutions
Yeah.
in Europe. And so we're still trying to find our way. They've had a long time to figure it out.
Yeah, and we appreciate all we've learned from in the chef
We
world and
enjoy
the
a
wine
good
world.
view from their shoulders.
That's right. So, again, the Solena, beautiful 2021 Pinot Noir, well met, love.
Terrific lineup.
I don't know anybody that wouldn't enjoy this.
It's
Honestly.
a terrific lineup.
Unless you
both
just
bottles.
like drink sweet wines, but that is
You don't like
elegant.
these wines, you don't like wine.
Yeah. And the Mille,
I'm gonna say it.
the Mille one, beautiful Lake Garda Rosso, a blend that really over delivers. And if y'all need any of that wine, just give me a holler here at the winery. Until next time it will be on Thursday.
Maybe.
Yeah, unless we
I
get
know
another
we've had a
one.
lot of confusion lately, but
A lot of Christmas parties coming our way. So.
Thanks for sticking with us. We should be on track.
And I hope y'all are being not naughty, but nice because Santa Claus is approaching. It's
I hope Santa's good to you
getting
either way.
close. Santa likes wine.
He does.
All right, kids. Catch you next time.
Thank you so much. Have a great night.